What's up, everyone? Welcome to... I actually don't know what the name's going to be anymore because I decided Nintendo Super Podcast is an old name when I did with older friends. They're still my friends, but, you know, we're doing our own thing now. But Brandon's a new member, so I don't know what we're going to do. Call it. Maybe Restart Cast, maybe something else. Brandon, I really just kind of just lumped this on you right now. I meant to tell you beforehand.
Yep. I had no idea before you just said that.
But the thing is that as I start, the moment I started the stream, I was like, welcome, everyone, tune in. Oh, that's right. I'm not sure I'm going to use that title anymore. So maybe Restart Cast, maybe something else. Well, I guess we could talk about it later. But welcome to a discussion on my channel, right? And we are joined by What About Nintendo. His name is Brandon. I don't know, whatever people want people to call you, Brandon, but yeah.
Yeah, you can just call me Brandon.
Yeah, and if for whatever reason, if anyone's watching this now or later when it's archived, you can check the description below. You can see a link to Brandon's channel. Check him out. He's awesome. There's lots of news. There's lots of live streams. He's great. So, yeah. We also both have Patreons now, so check that out as well. The information is in the description below. So we have a few different things to talk about. I'm hoping that I'm just looking at the stream. It looks like it's working fine. Good. I hope all the audio levels are good. Everything's set. I organized things a little bit better now, so hopefully the presentation is up to at least almost professional standards. Maybe not yet. Maybe I have to improve the computer so it actually looks better, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, yeah, Mario Odyssey is coming out this Friday. There's an Animal Crossing Direct tomorrow. You know, NeoGAF has crashed, but we're not going to talk about that. We can mention it, but it's not a topic of discussion. For the record, for anyone watching this discussion before Mario Odyssey comes out, we are not talking about leaks. I haven't seen any of the leaks. I don't want to see any of the leaks. I'm avoiding them like the plague. Okay, so yeah, just keep that in mind. If you're just here to talk about Mario and what you may speculate or have memories about the different Super Mario games, that's what this discussion is all about. Hype and speculation and theorizing and memories. No spoilers, none whatsoever. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. But Brandon, is there anything you just want to kind of jump right into this discussion with?
Oh, you're just putting me on the spot here.
You don't have to. You can just talk about your life, bro. Your channel, things. Yeah. Whatever's good.
Yeah, lately I've just been fighting this strange sickness that comes on and off. But I've been trumping through. I've been getting news videos out every day, Monday through Friday, and live streams most of the days. I think I might have missed one or two, but I was actually feeling really bad today. But I was like, you know what? There's some great news. I'm really excited. I'm going to get this done, and I did. I got 2 news videos out and a live stream, and now I'm on the podcast. So, boom! Take that, sickness. Can't take me down. Yeah, I've been having a good time. I'm really excited for the topics for this discussion because they're all really exciting for me.
Cool. All right, I got worried for a second. I thought my camera was broken, but it's good. Yeah, that's good, man. I'm glad that you actually. I've seen it. You are finding a way to get those news videos out there, right? And your thumbnail's looking pretty good too, right? And
thanks.
You're doing some streams as well, so you're getting better at balancing that out. Every day it's getting more and more legit. Anyways, shout out to Tatsumi, Kimishima, and Vooper for joining in the discussion very early on. I'm excited. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm excited. We are getting there. We are a handful of days away from Super Mario Odyssey, but we're not going to talk about it entirely yet. We're going to talk about a few things first. So, I guess I'll talk about my week too. Whatever. No, I won't. We'll talk about that later, I guess. So, yeah. Animal Crossing Direct. I didn't even realize one was announced until I was doing a little bit of brief research on Twitter. Actually, no, I saw it because I heard about North Korea stuff, and I was like, oh, really? Maybe I should see if something really bad is happening. And then I saw Animal Crossing Direct. I was like, oh, okay, we're okay. I made sure.
Life's great.
We're okay for now, but yeah. So there's a Direct happening. However, when I say Animal Crossing Direct, Animal Crossing Mobile Direct. So with the title right there, it's very clear that this is all about the mobile Animal Crossing game that's been in development for a while now. We're finally going to see it. We're going to learn what it's about when it's coming out. So, Brandon, I feel like you're a bigger Animal Crossing fan than I am. I've only played the GameCube one and the Wild World one. Aside from that, I've kind of avoided them. So, I guess it's all you here. I will add my 2 cents here and there and what I think, but I think you got more of a background to this.
Well, technically, you've actually played more than I have because I've only played New Leaf, but I did play it for like a long
You probably
time.
played it way more though.
Yeah, I played it for like over 100 hours. So
Okay.
I played it like all the time. But I love the series, even though I've only played the latest game. But from what I know, it's the best game in the series, and I'm so excited for this mobile game. I don't know what it's gonna be. It just interests me. It could definitely be a disappointment. It could come out and just be completely lame, and just like whatever. But Nintendo's been doing pretty good with their mobile games lately. Super Mario Run was good. I think it was a bit overpriced, but whatever. Fire Emblem Heroes was really fun. I played that for a long time, and I go back to it every now and then when they update it. So they've been doing good with their games recently on mobile, so hopefully this one's really good as well. I'm just wondering what it could be. Like, I'm just confused, because it's obviously not going to be a full-fledged Animal Crossing game.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question, right? Well, shout out to No Name. Welcome. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? I may have not played too many Animal Crossing games, but I have experienced Pokemon Go, I've experienced Super Mario Run, I've experienced, the Fire Emblem game. I have it, I played it, I put in a few hours into it, but I don't play it every day. And so I really like, actually, all of the games that Nintendo or / Pokemon have released for mobile games, but there is something that bothers me about them. And that's the fact that the thing is, like, the whole idea about mobile Nintendo games is that, when you're not in a setting where you want to play with your DS or your Switch or your Wii U or whatever, right? Let's say you're in New York, right? I live just outside of New York because it's technically New York. It's New York, So, like, when I go into the city, I have to get into the train, the path, and the metro rail and subway and all that stuff. And when you're underground, you have no internet connection, right? And that's the time when I actually want to use my phone and play these Nintendo mobile games. Yeah. But since there's no internet connection, guess what? I can't use Pokemon Go, I can't use Super Mario Run, and I can't use Fire Emblem Warriors. That's not Warriors, but whatever it's called. I forgot the name. But Heroes. I can't play Heroes. I can't play these games because you need to have an internet connection. And otherwise, my internet connection is great. But for people who live in the city, who go underground in different subways, which is a lot of people, there are lots of people. These cities that have these underground subways are very dense, It doesn't work, and that's unfortunate. And there's no reason why Mario Run shouldn't work. There's no reason why Fire Emblem Heroes shouldn't work. Pokemon Go, I understand, that's different. But the other two, you shouldn't need internet connection. It should just update after the fact. Any sort of information they need, they can update after the fact. The actual gameplay itself doesn't require an internet connection. I'm hoping that this Animal Crossing mobile game, whatever it is, I'll be able to play it without needing internet all the time. Like I said, when I want to use them, I'm underground in a train going into the city. Yeah. So.
Well, the main reason they did that, apparently, according to them, the main reason they did that is so people don't especially because they have for Mario Run, they didn't want people to pirate the rest of the game, because a lot of people do when they get free to play games or stuff like that. Pretty much, they just download it, they cut the internet connection off, they pirate it, and they just get all the stuff you're supposed to pay for, but they get it for free from hacks and stuff. So that's kind of why they're doing it. So it makes sense. But I wish they, I don't know, maybe you got maybe you had the option to pay $1 or something to play it offline all the time or something. Something where you're they're obviously going to get money, but then you get the benefits from it. Because obviously, I don't want people to be pirating the game all the time, and then Nintendo doesn't get the money. We don't see any new games or new features for these games because, Nintendo doesn't get money. They can't make more stuff, obviously. Right. But I also don't want to not be able to play on the go. Like my phone.
That's the point, though, right?
I don't pay for internet connection. So when I'm out on the go, I'm just like, well, I guess I can't play these games. So I only play them at home, which is what the heck.
Why would we even bother? The whole point is
why do I even bother
it's about being mobile. So, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. There's an interesting point that Rupert brought up about the possibility that if they show off there's Animal Crossing, there's a suggestion that perhaps the Animal Crossing for Switch is a longer ways off. I actually don't think that way, and I don't think there's any actual connection between the mobile games and the console games. In fact, I would say that the mobile games actually kind of advertise the IP a little bit, so that when they bring out the the big core franchise version of that IP, it's in the minds of more gamers, more people, so it'll sell better. Just look at Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Go, right?
Exactly.
And and it may have a minimal kind of an impact on Mario Odyssey as well. Although Mario Run came out kind of a ways off, And Super Mario Odyssey, for the record, I don't think anyone really expected it to come this soon. Like, the fact that we're getting it now,
I didn't.
Like, I was hoping they would have Mario out by this year, right? But, let's admit it, we're all glad we're getting Mario this year. Like, they brought it out sooner than expected. There were no delays, you know what I mean? So I don't really think there's any connection between the mobile games and delays. If anything, I think it could suggest that we may be seeing an Animal Crossing game within a year of the release of the mobile game, right? Because it does advertise the IP, it keeps it in the minds of gamers, and they want to cash in on the mass market of people who play phones, not only just for the mobile games, but so they can extend to their actual core franchises on the consoles. So
yeah, exactly.
I think this is exactly. I think this is good news for people who don't even care about mobile, because it means that the Switch version is coming eventually, probably within a year.
I made this point when I was making my update video on the same subject today. I made the point that it seems like their mobile games almost correspond to games coming out on their systems within like a year or so. Like Pokemon Go came out, then Sun and Moon came out. Mario Run, Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem Heroes, Fire Emblem Warriors. There seems to be a kind of a trend of them coming out with mobile games that correspond to mainline titles in the same series. And they've said it themselves. These games, they're meant to advertise their main market. That's what they've said. They've said that in many interviews. They made the mobile games to obviously to earn money from the mobile audience, but also to draw them back to what they really like and what they really love to make, and that is the mainline games in the series. So it just makes sense that if an Animal Crossing game's coming out mobile, it'll probably come out, I assume next year for the Switch as well.
It has to come out next year. It has to come out next year.
It's been so long since New Leaf. It just makes sense a new Animal Crossing game is coming soon.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna get into that conversation, but let's not delve too deep into it, right? Because we don't know exactly what's coming out next year. We know there's a Fire Emblem game coming to Switch. We know there's a Yoshi game, a Kirby game, hopefully a Pokemon game. They're trying to get it out by next year, but we're not sure yet. And Metroid doesn't have a year yet. We also hope it's coming out next year, but that's not. We don't know. It could be a Zelda situation. It could be, honestly. So there's still a lot of games to fill out that entire year. We don't know. We know Wolfenstein's coming to the Switch, but aside from that, there's not too many major things I know of. So Animal Crossing is definitely one of those games that could totally fit in there, along with Smash Brothers. But let's just talk about the Direct itself, okay? So Animal Crossing Mobile, I don't expect any announcement for any Switch or 3DS game. The most I expect is maybe, like, what we see from this mobile game. They might say, oh, and this will be compatible with future Animal Crossing IP in the future, and that's it. Like, that just perhaps a very subtle reference of other platforms Animal Crossing could be on. Of course, the only real platform that will be for the Switch, it's going to be my brain, the Switch. The next obvious platform that is for Animal Crossing is a Switch, right? So if they make a reference to a platform in the future, very subtly, there's something in the works for the Switch. We already know that, though. I hope, like I said before, that you don't need to be connected online all the time, right? And I do think they should go with the Fire Emblem Heroes route, right? Where it's like through free-to-play, microtransactions, things like that. That's where the money is at, right? Like, you look at the numbers, Mario Run, Fire Emblem Heroes, they're both popular, but we all know Mario is a more popular IP than Fire Emblem, right? Yet Fire Emblem Heroes made way more money. Why? Because of its pay structure, and that is just way smarter for that platform, which is, phones. So I expect them to adapt to that because, money talks, right? So...
Right.
What does that mean for Animal Crossing, though? Like, in terms of gameplay? That's hard to say. I mean, do you have any ideas, Brandon?
I am just confused at what they're going to do. It's got to be... I'm wondering if it's going to be something akin to... I don't even know. Maybe some elements of Happy Home Designer and something like that. Maybe some mini-games. Maybe they might even pull some mini-games from Amiibo Festival. I know Shun that game is horrible, but it had like one or two mini games that were actually decent. The rest of the game is absolute garbage. But they might pull those mini games out and add some new mini games that are like those. I don't know what they would do. There's got to be some kind of basic town building element, I'd assume. Like, I really don't know because they're obviously not going to make a mainline game. But what do you do?
Or do they?
With Animal Crossing? Maybe they would.
Well,
what do you do in Animal
okay,
Crossing?
so
I'm just confused.
maybe if we look at Fire Emblem Heroes, right? Maybe they came up with a formula. Fire Emblem Heroes is kind of, it has the core Fire Emblem gameplay, right? And Mario Run also has the core Mario gameplay. And technically Pokemon Go, in terms of just catching Pokemon, right, which is the initial draw for Pokemon, if you go back to its heyday, was just catching creatures, right? So if you think about the initial core concept for that game, I think that's where we could have a decent idea of where they're headed. So what is the core concept for Animal Crossing? Then there lies another problem, right? Because Animal Crossing is just kind of like...
It just exists. It's just a thing. What is it?
You're some cute little chibi character that does stuff with his house and village.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
It's village up.
You live a life of a chibi character or a little cutesy character in a cute little village, with a lot of quirky characters. So maybe it's just a smaller version of that. Maybe the town is a little smaller. Maybe it won't be. It could just be like a simplified version. Honestly, it could just be that. Like, literally that simple. It's Animal Crossing, but there's just not as much to it. Maybe. I don't know, because at the same time, when I say not as much to it, what does that really mean, right? Because you want to structure a free-to-play game where you can continually play it, And if you look at Fire Emblem Heroes, there's a lot of gameplay with that. So, if anyone in the chat has an idea of how they could make a good Animal Crossing mobile game without... Okay, here's the thing. You can make a great Animal Crossing mobile game. Of course you can. But you can't make it in a way where people won't want to buy the Switch version in the future. You know what I mean? Right? So it's kind of like if they made a Fire Emblem Heroes like with super awesome 3D graphics and a really awesome narrative that's just super epic, that has constant like narrative expansions, right, on top of a combat system it's super deep, then there's no point in making one on the 3DS or something. You know what I mean? Because people will be like, oh well, I got it for free and it's just as good, if not better. You don't want to do that. You want something that's going to be clearly, this is this, right? This is okay for like mobile experiences, but when I want to play on a real console, there has to be a clear distinction. Otherwise, they're bastardizing the sales for whatever comes in the future for Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I think they could. It's interesting. Maybe they could just have, instead of actually going around and doing things, maybe they could just have mini games just like corresponding to typical Animal Crossing things, like fishing mini games or a weed pulling mini game or a bells earning mini game or something like that. They just have these mini games and then they earn you items and then you put them in your house and you can talk to villagers and get extra items or something. Like you talk to a certain amount of villagers a day. It's interesting. I'm trying to think like simplified. It's very odd.
Yeah.
I think it would probably have some happy home designer elements, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and then I saw the Game Explain discussion about it, and they actually suggested that, hey, the happy, like, whatever tree, I don't even pay attention to the name, man, bro, because that was like, there's no way I was going to touch that, but that kind of designer sort of game would have been a good idea for mobile. So, yeah. Anyway, quick shout out to Black Star Dude and Son Gohan. How you guys doing? Personally, if you haven't seen I'm obviously really excited about Mario Odyssey, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But, yeah, maybe it could be something where it's like it focuses kind of like on just an element of Animal Crossing, right? And just really goes into depth about that one element, And then that maybe with that could have some sort of whatever sort of stats or items you build could translate into the eventual Animal Crossing for Switch or even the 3DS version. Maybe this one will be Animal Crossing Farmerland, So you just farm and clean up crops and build up property or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking it will be kind of like Animal Crossing, but without the social element, I guess, of just walking around and hanging out with your Animal Crossing friends and stuff. I think it would be like, this is what you do in Animal Crossing, but it's like quicker. Like you just okay, you're in your house, okay, you're in the mini game, okay, you're at a shop, just really quick and simplified.
Maybe like a lot of like farming mini games, fishing mini games. Yeah. Streamlined, like not as much freedom.
Yeah, really streamlined, but
not as much freedom,
exactly
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, it's designed in a way where you always have something to do every day, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe kind of like, okay, so, like, you know in Mario Run, right, how you have, like, the castle area, you can kind of expand it the more you play?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, but maybe a little bit better, you know? A little bit more expanded than that, where you have an area, but you don't have, like, entire free roam ability. You don't have free roam ability for it. It's not like you can explore this small little open world, right, and find things. Like, it's kind of limited in that, but you can grow and expand it as you do these mini games that is streamlined. You know, maybe there's minor movements here and there. I could see something along those lines. Obviously, this may be a little bit vague, but if you think about my comparison to Mario Run, but a little bit more detailed, you look at what they did with Heroes, you guys might be sort of on the same wavelength with us if you pay attention to those different details. We're on the same page, right, Brandon?
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Probably.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what I expect. I don't expect any announcements for Switch or 3DS.
No, yeah, they in the Twitter post they specifically said that they're not going to be talking about anything other than this mobile game. Nothing about the Nintendo Switch or 3DS or other mobile games. Yeah. They made it very clear this is not any other announcements.
Right. But
it's going to be 15 minutes long, by the way.
But super short. So they're just basically going to highlight the game, maybe talk about a few features, and maybe a very, very subtle reference about this game's information, giving you some sort of bonus items in an eventual Switch version. And like I said earlier on in this topic, I do think that the fact that this is coming out, I think Animal Crossing the Direct, I think we're gonna get the mobile game before the end of the year, and I think that Animal Crossing Switch will be coming out within a year of Animal Crossing Mobile.
Yeah. I think they'll announce it in a January event, to be honest.
The legit Animal Crossing game, right?
Yes.
Yes, I agree as well, and I definitely agree. So, let's just move on to the next topic. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Yeah. But if anyone has any sort of questions they want to be answered with Animal Crossing, put them in the comments below, and we'll get to it by the end of the discussion, hopefully. So, let's move on to Pokemon development. So, Brandon, I know you did a little bit of a news video on this. So, how about you go ahead and give us a little bit of preview of your news videos, but also just give us the quick summary of the information here. Unless you want me to do it. I don't want to put you on the spot if you're not ready.
No, I'm good with it. As you said, I made a news video just today. So pretty much they went to the producer of Sun and Moon. I don't remember who was interviewing it, but there was an interviewer. And interesting enough, he actually had Shigeru as his first name. I just thought that was funny because Miyamoto. But anyways, they went to him, and pretty much what he said when he was asked, like, how are you making both Sun and Moon and the Switch Pokemon game at the same time? And what he answered was pretty much, when they make a new game in a series, if they have, like, the third version of a game and then they have their new main game, what they do is all the veteran devs that are, like, really talented, really good, they move on to the new big project, and then they let their younger developers work on the older game. And that's still what they're doing with this one. Pretty much what they're doing is their younger devs are getting practice making these games by working on the third version. Because really, you don't really do that much with the third version. Right. It's just some minor changes and stuff, and not that big. And all the veterans go and move on to the next big project. So that
I mean, when Eurogamer spoke of a Pokemon Stars way long ago, right? They already basically told us that Pokemon team is working on two different games. One of which is Ultra Sun and Moon, which is clearly reusing the same assets. They're just doing some slight polishes, adding some minor gameplay changes here and there. Just basically a remix of Sun and Moon. But what that is doing for this younger team that's less experienced, it just gives them more time to get acquainted with things, get more experience, more experience making Pokemon games. While the more, like as you said, more veteran, experienced team is working on the main game. They've been working on this main game for at least a year, probably 2 years by now, maybe even 3. Okay, so this team has already been doing a lot of work into it, and I expect now that Ultra Sun and Moon is obviously done by this point, right? It's a month away. That they'll probably be moving, either have that team move on to another smaller project, or have them come in, see what they've been doing with the big new game and really speed things up to hopefully get that game out by the end of the year. So that's probably what they're doing with that team. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's promising in the sense that we're hearing about this. I think it suggests that the development cycle is good. We're not hearing anything bad. Nothing. There's no sort of controversy. And the fact that they have a clear division like this sounds like they're organized and they're efficient, and it also suggests to me that this new team is going to help out with the bigger project for Switch, and we have about a year now, so hopefully they can get it out. You know, whatever they have working now, that core concept will they'll get it all polished and ready to go by the end of the year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We can't. It's not confirmed yet, right? But that's what they're working towards. By the way, if anyone saw my cat, I have two of my cats are in here and they might jump around. So, sup, Cotton Snivy? How you doing? Yeah. So, I don't know. Is there anything else you kind of take from this information, Brandon?
Yeah. I have two very important things. First off, it's being made by Game Freak. And a lot of people have been worried that this was either going to be a remake of an older Pokemon game or like a spin-off title like Pokemon Coliseum. But that's obviously not the case. If it was a spin-off, their veterans would not be working on it. They'd be working on another project, the mainline one. Second off, Game Freak would not be working on it. Game Freak does not work on their spin-off titles. They only work on the mainline titles. So this obviously, and a lot of people, like, when they announced it, they said it was a mainline RPG, but a lot of people were like, yeah, but is it really going to be, the real deal mainline Pokemon RPG? And, like, this pretty much confirms it to me that this is going to be the mainline RPG that we've been waiting for. So I think to all the people who, are worried that this is just going to be like another spin-off game or like just a remake of an older title, that's obviously not the case. Otherwise, Game Freak, and especially not Game Freak's veterans, would not be working on this game. They always outsource that to either their younger developers or to one of their other Pokemon divisions.
It's a great point. Yeah, this is their core team, their experienced team, their talented team, the big boys who know how to make the great stuff. They've been working on this mainline Pokemon game for Switch for a while now. Okay. And the younger guys are probably just going to come in to help put in the finishing touches. So, yeah, this is the real deal. But it doesn't necessarily mean, I'm going to say this, maybe you may disagree, but it could still be a remake, but it's going to be like a full-blown, whatever this game is, it's not like, just a quick port. It's not like an upgraded Sun and Moon with just HD textures. This is going to be, it's going to be a significant jump. This may be the most significant jump we've ever seen for a Pokemon game, which isn't saying much. Okay, so, like, I mean, the thing is with Pokemon, they always kind of do, like, not even like a half generation jump at most, maybe a third generation jump, you know what I mean? Like, when the DS came out, they made Black and White, which is, like, still sprite-based, but, like, using Mode 7 or something like that, you know what I mean, right? Which is, like, Super Nintendo level, but with the 3D processor chip within the cartridge, right? And then when it just... That's basically what they did. It's just kind of like they never...
Yeah.
It took a while. It took years for them to actually make a 3D game. They had 3D hardware. Yeah. We didn't see a full-on 3D game on the DS at all. We had to wait until X and Y. And then basically Ultra Sun and Moon is basically the same engine as X and Y, just like modified a little bit, over the years. So they haven't made that much of a jump. When they did do the jump to Sun and Moon, that from Gen 6 to Gen 7, they did make the world a bit more dynamic in terms of movement. It's a little bit more like an adventure game, like a 3D adventure game, a little bit. It's still kind of, it's not grid based, right? But it's still, it's you have limited pathways you can move through, like kind of like a PlayStation 1 game, you know what I mean? So it's prettier than a PlayStation 1 game, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that their scope isn't that grandiose. They make great games, but they don't, you know what I mean? Like, they're never, in terms of technology, they're not necessarily pushing the boundaries in terms of epic, scope and graphics. But their games are pretty. I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about in terms of technical aspects. So I think this game is going to be a big jump, but don't expect like Breath of the Wild with Pokemon running around. It's not going to be that. It's going to be, I mean, it's hard to say really. But it's not going to be that. It's going to be less than that in terms of scope, But it doesn't mean it's not going to be amazing. So, I guess we should keep our expectations in check here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Brandon? Do you think it's going to be?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would agree with that, but lately I think they've been pushing the systems that they're on a lot more. One of the reasons they said they didn't want to make, other than the fact that the Switch is out, they said they didn't want to make another 3DS game after Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, is because they said they couldn't push the hardware anymore. And it's pretty obvious that Sun and Moon is pushing the hardware, at least
Yes.
of the original 3DS, because the frame rate, you can tell it takes a hit. There's no 3D because it wouldn't run.
Yeah.
They're obviously pushing the graphics in that way, and they said they wanted to push it farther than they have. So I think in recent years they've been kind of trying to do that more, even if before that wasn't really a goal. So it's really hard to say whether or not they'll do that on Switch. But I think Nintendo might, I don't know, since it's a home console, Nintendo kind of might push them in that direction, because I don't think they would want something that looks ancient on the Switch, because they're trying to go for that mainline, like, actual home console experience on the go.
I'll say this, right? The fact that they didn't come out this year, right, or it was shown off this year, I think bodes well for how much of a jump they're making, right? Because people were kind of thinking that before we knew about Ultra Sun and Moon, when they were just the Pokemon Stars, or when we were just basing everything off what Eurogamer told us, we were kind of thinking that it might be like Ultra, not Ultra, but Sun and Moon, but with like HD textures, kind of like what Capcom has been did with the Monster Hunter on 3DS and Wii U. They just and then now the Switch version, they just, basically, it's the same game, but HD textures, in HD. Like, that's basically what they did. They just upgraded the textures and called it a day. I expect more of a jump than that. I think all the textures are going to be in HD. It's going to be very clean. I expect a smooth frame rate. I expect 60 frames per second.
I do too.
I'm really hoping. Now, this is where I think this is something they could do. Like Sun and Moon, the arena-based gameplay, it is kind of stadium-like, but not quite. I'm expecting like a very epic, like stadium, coliseum, sort of battle revolution, sort of arena-based gameplay when it comes to the actual fights. So make that jump to where the fights feel like a 2017 or 2018 Pokemon Stadium. That, I think, is something that is
That'd
feasible.
Be awesome.
That would be
Pokemon
huge.
Stadium was so good.
I don't know if they'll do it, right? I hope I'm not like raising people's expectations too much, but I think it's something they could do, and it'd be really great to see. Yeah. So maybe.
And it's going to be the first Pokemon game on the Switch. I don't expect it to be the height of what they're going to do on this system. I imagine they'll put 2 or 3 Pokemon games out on the console over its lifetime. So
definitely,
I think this one might be not the amazing, like, best graphics Pokemon game.
Right, we might have to wait for the next Pokemon game.
But yeah, I think the next one, after they get more experience with the console, they experience actually working in HD. This is going to be the first time they made a game in HD. So, after they do that, I think it'd be wise for them to do Unreal Engine 4. In my opinion, it'd be wise for them to go with Unreal Engine 4, just because how well that works on the Switch, how easy it is, how much experience people already have using it on the Switch. I think it would be easier to learn it that way. But, of course, I'm not a game developer. This is just my opinion. But I think it might be wise for them to go with Unreal Engine 4.
I mean, I thought that I disagree with you that it wouldn't be a good idea as a development choice, but if you look at the history of the Pokemon team, they kind of always done their own thing. They kind of create their own engines,
That's
so
true.
I don't know.
So did Nintendo, and then they used Unreal Engine 4 for Yoshi.
True that. But I think maybe you're right. I mean, we are seeing a lot of Nintendo is doing a lot of collaboration now, working with other companies like Nvidia, like Unreal, so Bethesda. So maybe that is the case, but at the same time, Pokemon is a second party. It's not wholly owned by Nintendo, so they don't necessarily have the exact same mindset as Nintendo. You know what I mean? So we'll see. It would be cool to see that for sure. And if it was running on Unreal, I would expect something huge, like huge. Yeah. But it could be something a little lesser than that. We'll see, right?
The games still look good even if they're not on Unreal Engine 4.
You know what they could do, honestly, and I'd be 100% okay with it? What if they did a situation where, this is just an idea, headcanon, right? What if they went back to Kanto and Johto? So remember when Silver and Gold came out, it combined both the original region and the new region. But they're basically one continent. So what if they started a game where the entire adventure spanned both regions? But since those are the 2 oldest regions that have had multiple remakes already, what if they recreated a 3D fully explorable world in that with, they don't have to actually create a new map. They just kind of, build out a 3D world with that where there's no, like, grid or anything, no, completely free roam, even more free roam than Ultra Sun and Moon, and that's how it is in terms of adventure. And then you have stadium-like, but of course, 2018 graphics level fights. And then obviously online play.
That would be dope.
Slightly better online features.
That'd be amazing.
I'd love that. That would be that would sell 1 billion copies.
It would. Just the Switch instant best-selling system of all time.
And they wouldn't have to go create a whole new region, create a whole bunch more Pokemon designs, because that takes time and effort. Like, maybe just add a few new Pokemon designs, but stick with the original 3, or something along those lines. And because the thing is, with the Switch, what you're doing, you're bringing a lot of gamers who will not have played Pokemon in a long, long time. You know what I mean? Right? So they're going to be like, when they see that Kanto influence, you know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, this is it. Right? And they might kind of latch on to that Pokemon Go craze a bit too, right? Because Switch is going mainstream like Pokemon Go, and they might get people who are like, oh, I want to pick Charmander, I want to pick so they have the Kanto area, and I would love it for they could do Johto as well since they're connected, but we'll see. And just completely new story, but same map, but just completely redone, so it feels new, but it is kind of like how Metroid Samus Returns is a remake for the Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, but it feels like a completely different game, something along those lines, except even bigger because we're talking about fully 3D world here. So yeah, that would be awesome. It's a bit of a dream of mine, but it's like slightly reserved, like I'm not hoping for a whole open world here, just like a decent sandbox. But
yeah, I think they could do that.
It's possible. I don't know.
If they will.
Because Pokemon, like we said, Pokemon usually doesn't like to make the big jump, so that might be way too much of a jump for them.
They're so conservative with their gameplay elements, which can be good, but I just feel like they should go out of the box a little bit. Explore outside of that little Pokemon box.
Yeah. It'd be great. I mean, it looks like people kind of like the idea of going back to Kanto. It's not like you wouldn't be able to have all the new Pokemon. It's just, that would be kind of like extended. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I would love it. If any of you guys have any other ideas you want us to talk about, again, put them in the comments below. I think it's time to start talking about some Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. So first, let's talk about the lack of leaks that will be in this discussion and how we're going to avoid them. Okay, so I just want to make it clear, no leaks will be spoken of. I know of any, so I couldn't possibly spoil it, even if I wanted to. Hopefully, Brandon, you can say the same. And if any of you are in the chat,
I have been
spoil anything. I'm warning you guys now. I love all of you guys, I really do. But if any of you spoil anything, I'll have to ban you.
I will kill you.
Yeah,
ban you.
Do not ruin this for everyone else. Okay, so insta ban, legit insta ban.
That's what I told my subscribers. Some of mine were like, "What would happen if I posted a Mario Odyssey link?"
Insta ban.
Discord? I'd like instant ban. I wouldn't even not a temporary ban, not a mute, no ban for life, never coming back. Like that's what I would do, and they were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like,
so,
dude, don't even.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen any leaks. I'm not really looking for Mario Odyssey videos right now, so I guess that helps, I just stick to the popular sources that I know of, and that's kind of basically how I avoid leaks. I heard that, in the Twitter chats or people that are bringing it up, even with Nintendo, Nintendo post videos, I just stay away from that. Just stay away from that stuff. Just 3 more days. I'm saying avoid the internet, just don't go to, like, forums, where people who don't have a career at stake do stuff. Yeah. And there are thumbnails on YouTube.
If you watch YouTube, anything about Mario, if you've ever watched Mario, do not go into the
just stick to news videos.
Suggestions.
Right.
Stick to who you're subscribed to. Don't venture out.
Game Explain, Spawn Wave, Player Essence.
Those are the people that will not spoil.
Right, they're really IGN. That's it, Me too, and Brandon, but just people who you trust, basically, to not screw you over, and everything else, don't go do any exploration, nothing like that. And keep it to a minimum because, like I said, in fact, what I would suggest is just go to your subscription feed and check stuff there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Instead of just looking at suggested videos. So
suggested videos, that just will screw you over.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean that's it, right? I don't. I think Mario Odyssey has lots of content, so for whatever reason, if you do see something, it's not like you're not going to be able to enjoy the game. But, you know, I would love the game to be magical. I would love the game to kind of inspire new memories and also bring back old memories. Make me feel like a kid again. Which brings us to our final topic, but perhaps our biggest topic of the night. Super Mario memories. So, you know, I have a whole bunch of memories about different Super Mario games. I mean, I have a few ideas in mind, but Brandon, do you have any in mind that you want to bring up first? Or should I start talking about one of mine first?
I don't know. You can go first. I've been going first.
Okay, so my first memory of video games in general is my dad playing on the Super Nintendo, TMNT, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was actually a popular, very good game back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's very vague. I don't really remember playing it. But my first personal video game system, my first personal game that I had for myself to play and enjoy was Super... Of course, we played together with the family, but, you know, something that I had a hands-on experience with, that I had my own file, I get to play and enjoy with frequency, was Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64. And, you know, that was amazing. It was like, I wasn't really born into the 2D era. I was born at the birth of the 3D era. Well, 91, 96, but you understand the idea. By the time I achieved consciousness, I was playing, you know, that's when 3D games were starting to go full throttle, and Mario 64 was the torchbearer for that. It was just amazing seeing Peach talk and just exploring this vast field and this huge castle. You know, I felt like there were so many things that were possible. It was really cool. Like, when I would go to school, like, people would always say all these different things. Back then, the internet wasn't popular. It wasn't mainstream at all. So having information about what was right or not, no one really knew. So if your friend at the lunch table told you that after you beat Bowser, there's a whole new adventure with Yoshi, you believe them. And, like, I would try all these weird things, trying to jump into the waterfall, acquire Yoshi again. Like, you see Yoshi jump off into the waterfall or something at the end of the game when you beat the castle, get to the top of the castle. Like, I would do all this crazy stuff just to, like, find more, you know? And I would always look at all these islands in the background, you know? Like, when you look at the backgrounds for the different worlds, you would see islands, like, just painted in the background. I would always wonder, oh, where's that? How could I get there? What if I were to break through this invisible wall somehow and literally swim all the way? Because I was a kid. I didn't understand that. You know?
Totally everything I did.
It was just like a magical time. I mean, I felt like I was in a fantasy world. It was awesome. It was my version of Narnia or Disney World or what have you. Nintendo is my Disney. And that was my first real game, and it was just a magical experience. And I still have fun. Well, if you guys watch my stream, I actually got really frustrated playing Mario 64. It's very hard. If you play the actual N64 version, it's challenging. It's challenging. Especially if you play it on Wii U, which is not emulated well. It's hard, but I still loved it. It's fun. So yeah, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Unless Brandon, you're ready to, talk about something.
Yeah, I'm pretty much ready. If you want me to go.
Wait, you said banned? Did someone say something, or you just?
No, I was just joking. It was just a joke.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. But yeah, my first game was not Mario Odyssey, or Mario Odyssey, obviously. Mario 64, that was actually my second game. My first one was Ocarina of Time. But yeah, Mario 64 is one of the first games I ever played. I played video games when I was very little. Like, as far as I can remember, I played video games. It's the same for all my younger brothers. Like, I have a 2-year-old brother. He plays video games. I played video games when I was 2 years old. Like, as soon as I could hold a controller, they slapped one in my hand and was like, here, play some Mario. Of course, I sucked at the game. I never did anything. But I remember playing me some Mario. So that game was legendary. It was just like, as you were saying, just like all the secrets were just like, can I do this? Is this even possible? And you would try hundreds of times for this thing that actually isn't anything. But it was awesome, just that magic of being able to run around in an open environment. For me, that was my first video game experiences were in 3D. So that's what I have the most kind of nostalgia for, and that's the games I like the most. I do enjoy 2D games, but Mario I've always liked more in 3D.
Yeah.
But Mario 64...
I'm with you right there.
Mario 64 is my favorite, I think.
Super
Other
Mario
than maybe
games,
Galaxy.
the 3D ones are my favorite Mario games. So if I were to make a top 5 list, the only 2D Mario game that might make it, maybe, is Super Mario World. Maybe. You know, Galaxy, Sunshine, 64, all really good. 3D Land, I really liked them in 3DS, actually. 3D World, that's not going to be in the top 5. But you know, it's still a good game. Yeah. So actually, I want to read some of the you know, points here made about different memories from Mario Galaxy. Tatsuya Kimishima says his memory, he has a big memory of Super Mario Galaxy 1 in the beginning. You know, when you're going towards the castle in the village, you see all the stars and so you know, good. Star bits and shards and stuff. It's such a beautiful, beautiful scene. And during that time, I think it was 2007. Like, you know, there's a lot of talk about the underpowered Wii, but you see Galaxy, right? And on a standard definition television, which a lot of people still had at that time. Like, even if you had an HD television, it still looked good on it. Like, this game looked beautiful. Like, you see the water shimmering at night, and you see the castle, and you're like, oh my god, I just want to explore this. And you get very limited experience with that. And as Kimishima says, he created multiple save files just to replay that part and see it multiple times.
I did too.
It's awesome. Yeah, it is so awesome. There's even, you know, Blooper's actually talking about the blue coins in Sunshine, how they're kind of annoying. It's interesting though, because, you know, in the beginning, yeah, I agree. Like, when I was a kid, first of all, Sunshine, I love it. I'll get into that a little bit, but just like the blue coins were kind of frustrating to me. But now, you know, that I'm 100%er of Super Mario games, right? 100% in 64, Galaxy, Galaxy 2, 3D World, 3D Land. You know, I 100% 3D Mario games, and those final levels that are super hard, always beat them. So I don't know. I don't think there's a secret final level in Sunshine, but nevertheless, like, getting all the stars, that's something that I'm totally into now. So I want to go back and play Sunshine and 100% the game, because I never 100% beat it and got all the blue coins in every single level. I want to see how that works. I bet I'll enjoy it more now than then. So we'll see.
Maybe.
But definitely it was something that I was frustrated with at first. And I would love it if they were to remake the game and optimize things, add a few levels. Give it the Super Mario 64 DS treatment. Give it 30 more stars, you know? Or maybe just change the stars for the blue coins. Less blue coins, more like extra levels, you know? It'd be awesome. Yeah. And obviously, if you look at what they did with Wind Waker HD, you look at the style for Sunshine, which it's different. It's definitely different. But you could see how, like, that HD lighting system really took Wind Waker to a whole other level.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see that done on Sunshine as well. Clean up the textures a little bit, fix that camera, HD lighting with some better colors, maybe up even up the polygons, because the polygons in Sunshine are pretty good already. And
yeah, they are.
Yeah, that game was beautiful.
Yeah, I played it recently on my PC because I emulated it via Dolphin, and they let you scale it as much as you got a high resolution TV. You can scale it all the way up. I was playing at 1440p. It looked so good. Like, even like, you could tell, of course, it's a GameCube game, but it looked so clean and sharp, and it was just like, the textures aren't bad. This isn't like going back to an N64 game where it's just, you know, like, what is this texture even supposed to be?
No, Sunshine's aged pretty well.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. That game is just, it's probably one of my least favorite 3D Mario games. Just, I don't feel like getting any of the shines.
I'm banning you in the chat.
You're banning.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh. I had never played it as a kid. Actually, I did. I have a really special memory of that game when I was very young. I was over at a friend's house, someone I've known all my life, and we were playing. They had a GameCube. This was before I got mine, like a year or so before I got my GameCube. They were playing Super Mario Sunshine. I was just like, what is this weird Mario game where you're going around and you're spraying like water on mud? I'm like, what's the point of this? What is this weirdness? And that's all I thought. I never knew what the game was till like 2-3 years ago when I figured out what it actually was. Because I don't know, I just could never figure out what it was. I never really looked. All I remember is Mario and mud, and so I literally looked up Mario and mud, and it came up with Sunshine. I was like, oh, yeah. But I recently replayed it, and I don't know if it's the emulator I used, but like, or if I'm just terrible at Mario, even though I played 3D World and I played Mario 64, and I was pretty good at that. But I could not, like, for the life of me, get a hold of those controls. Like, they just felt bad. I don't know. It's probably the emulator I was using, but it just felt weird.
I'm not a fan of emulation. I've done
even when the controls worked, though, I didn't find in the missions as fun as 64, and I didn't find the levels as good either, and there were less of them. I liked Flood sometimes, like it could be fun, especially with that jet one where you like run and it sprays water and you just go like super fast. That was super fun to use.
You know what's saying like really cool I would do all the time?
Never used it.
Was the not the rocket one that shoots you up, but the one that blasts you forward. Yeah, I would always jump into the water and I'd be like, I would charge it up slowly, and I'd always be like, Kamehameha, and I would just like blast through the water, going really fast, seeing those awesome water physics, and seeing all this blue just splurge out. It was fun just flying through the water like that. The water physics in Mario Sunshine were just beyond, they were just amazing. Amazing for the time. And it was just so cool playing around. Like, the thing for me, right, I grew up in Miami. Like, I was born and raised in Miami, so, like, I have, like, that affinity for, like, the sun, and, you know, like, of course people love the sun, right? But, like, I got Sunshine, I got Metroid Prime at the same time together. They came out the same holiday season. That's why I got my GameCube, and, like, it was just really cool. Like, when I would play Sunshine, there was, like, where we were staying, there was, like, a lake in the back, and I could see the sun, and it's just kind of, like, it all, you know, when you have play in a certain setting in a game as a kid, like the nostalgia kind of like all like morphs together, and it was just amazing. Like seeing these water physics and seeing the sun, how shiny it was, and just doing all these crazy levels. Like I just love playing with the jetpack. I love the idea of water and cleaning everything up, and Mario being in this tropical island sort of setting because I love tropical settings. You know, I grew up in one. You know, so like it's I guess I relate to it a little more. I don't know. I love it. I just loved it so much. It was just so cool. And I definitely, you know, it's kind of how it led to Galaxy. It is, where when you would lose Flood sometimes, and you have to do those platforming levels, which are really cool. And actually, those are going to be
those are my favorite part
coming back in Mario Odyssey, where you're going to lose Cappy, and you are forced to basically rely on just pure platforming ability with no, you know, crutch like a Flood or your Starbit spinner or, you know, Cappy. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's just really cool because everything I'm hearing about Mario Odyssey is they're taking a lot of inspiration from 64, from Galaxy and Sunshine, and that's exciting because like the entire game is like a huge vacation there. You even have like brochures and stuff, which is like, in a way, it almost seems like a sequel to Sunshine. You know, maybe it is. Maybe it's that sequel I've been waiting for all these years. You know? Maybe. If you think of it that way, it kind of is, right?
Yeah. For me, I don't know. Flood was fun sometimes, but for me, I always liked the no Flood platforming section. So it was like the part of the game I actually really liked. I don't know, which is, I guess, I just loved Galaxy, which is based off of those segments, so it makes sense. But I don't know, there's something about the level design that even when everything worked, just getting the stars themselves wasn't always the most fun thing in the world. But it was a pretty good game. Like, it was decent. Like, I enjoyed it. My playtime with it. But it was just like, after I got the main shines, I was like, nope, I can't. Just no more. No more Sunshine. It's just like, I can't do it anymore. So I never got all the shines because I was like, I'm not doing the blue coin missions, guys. I'm just not. It's not happening.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't 100%ed it either. I want to go back and do that. It's just really special to me. So I've probably talked about this memory in on channel before, but I'm going to say it again. Not everyone's heard it, and maybe you haven't heard it exactly the same way. But Super Mario Galaxy 2. Okay, so when I got that game, I was I was going through a breakup actually, and I was just playing through the game, you know. And there was a moment where she was there, and a couple of my friends were in there. Like, one of those was my roommate. This is like the beginning of college for me. And like they were all in there, and they all just started teasing me. And I was like just playing Galaxy 2, and I was just like, just leave me alone. I don't care about anyone else right now. I am just playing Galaxy 2. And I was just plugging away at the game, plugging and plugging, like doing every level. It was challenging, just like dialing in, focusing in on it. That was my escape, bro. And it was just awesome. I always love those moments in Galaxy where you can just kind of like stop and just look around the stars because it's beautiful. But like my best moment in Galaxy 2 was just like at the end, that final level, which is so hard. It is so hard, you know, when you're 100% in Galaxy 2, that final super awesome secret level, it's incredibly difficult. And I just kept plugging away, you know, little by little, it got better and better. I got the muscle memory, and I eventually did it. And it was just one of those amazing moments, you know, that we get in gaming where you work really, really hard for something, and you have that moment of achievement, and you're just like, wow, I did that, you know? And yeah, it was just awesome. And I mean, Galaxy 2 is one of my favorite games ever. If not only for that final moment, of course the entire game was great, but you know, it's just awesome.
Yeah. I actually never played Galaxy 2, unfortunately. I always wanted to get it. I could never afford it. there was
You
this
can get it on the
first.
Wii U Virtual Console for I think $20.
Yeah, but I mean, when I had my Wii U, it was interesting times, money wise. I was literally only buying first party games, and even the few and far between ones I could barely afford. So
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know. But I did buy Mario Galaxy 1, and 2 was out. 2 was out, but I bought 1 because I don't know. People were telling me buy 2, it's the better game. And I was like, but I haven't played the first one. You have to play the first one first. And I don't know, this is some autism thing, but I was just like, I have to play the first one first. So I got the first one.
I agree
It was
with
still
that.
like $35-$40. Like it was insanely
Yeah.
expensive for back then. Even though the second one was already out. But I loved that game. As Tatsumi was saying, that first scene where you just go in and the star bits are just raining down, and then Bowser just just is huge and destroys the castle and steals Peach, and you're just like, what is happening? That's just awesome. But I think the stage I remember most in that game is the stage where you like turn into a bee and you fly around in the beehive.
Yeah. I love
That was
those.
like so fun. I love the power ups in that game, which is like I feel like they're the closest that feel like they're the closest to the Mario Odyssey power ups because you're almost actually turning into another creature with a lot of those power ups. In Mario Odyssey, it goes a step further, and you're actually like you are that creature. But this one it got so close. Like with some of the power-ups, you actually felt like you were like a bee just flying around.
Yeah,
doing
I mean
cool
that's
stuff.
totally true. Like in 64, you just had the cast, you turned invisible into metal, and you could fly. In Sunshine, you
flying.
lost
I
that,
want
but instead
flying.
you had Flood with 3 different nozzles, right? Which was cool. But yeah, aside from that, there were no extra power-ups. And we're just talking about 3D, 3D video, the 3D Mario games. 3D Land and 3D World kind of made the power-ups from the old 2D Mario games 3D. And then, yeah, the Galaxy games, you would kind of be close to like emulating different characters' power-ups or abilities, which is interesting. Yeah, for sure. And then Odyssey has taken that next step, and you literally control like almost every animate or even some inanimate objects in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't wait. Like I've heard there's like, I forgot the number, but there's at least like 50 transformations in Odyssey or something. Like it's just crazy. There's so many transformations. Like it's crazy. And I heard that the number of like moons is very, very high. Like 600, it's more than that. I mean, yeah, I'm spoiling that the game has more than 600 moons. So I mean, yeah, it's big. It is huge. Like 120 stars. This is way bigger than that. I mean, the moon. Some I feel like some moons are easier to get than a star, and the way the game is streamlined, right? So like you don't boot out of the world after you get one single moon,
so much.
right? You can kind of get one and continue going. But still, like this game is huge. It's bigger, and I heard there is a post game as well, as the latest 3D Mario games have developed, since Galaxy. So that whatever sort of moons there are, that probably takes it to another level with whatever they do with the post game, and I've heard it's interesting. That's all I've heard. So we'll see what happens with that. There's just some crazy stuff. Yeah.
I agree.
We're gonna see it all on Friday. So
Friday, so soon.
Yeah, I might end up streaming it. Like I don't know, because I have to work. Oh, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna stream it probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'll probably stream like once or twice, but I'm not gonna stream the whole.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. So
Everyone is gonna be streaming it though. Everyone.
Let's see if anyone else has any other cool memories. So.
Yeah.
Oh well, Black Soldier was actually talking about spoilers here, but he's talking about how he just obviously hates spoilers, right? And he's saying how it reminds him of how the time he sees a blind playthrough of Paper Mario Color Splash, and his brother kept trying to help him out, and he told him several times to stop, right? Which is like weird. It's like, I'm helping you. He's like, no, I don't want you to help me because you're actually making this worse for me. I want to figure it out myself and enjoy it just as it is. I mean, so yeah, I mean, if you are a fan of, like I said, I was talking about earlier about Galaxy 2, and that moment of satisfaction when I 100%ed it, like, I had to work for that. No one helped me, I didn't get any help, and that's why it felt so good at the end. Like, you want to earn it, you want to discover this all on your own, and when someone takes that away from you, I mean, that kind of sucks. Like, that satisfaction you get when you make that discovery is not as impactful. So for sure, like, yeah, I mean, I think we all relate here. We don't like spoilers. Sometimes we don't necessarily want help. It depends, but most of the time we don't want help, you know, when we're just trying to discover a game and enjoy it for what it is. For sure. Really. Actually, there's this one really terrible time, if we're going to just talk about spoilers here, and it's not about a video game, it's about Game of Thrones, actually. My cousin literally said, like, and this is, I don't want to spoil, I don't know if anyone's planning on watching Game of Thrones, so I'm not going to spoil anything. And if you don't know about Game of Thrones, people die a lot, but there's this one character that you just wouldn't think would die, right? And he's like, oh yeah, he died. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you spoil it for me? And I got into a huge argument with him about spoiling that ruining that moment for me, you know? But I mean, whatever. It was just kind of like funny at the time. But it's still, like, you know, you don't want things to be spoiled, of course. So, yeah obviously.
I have a similar story to that.
Yeah?
I didn't get spoiled, but my brother spoiled someone else. I won't say who it was, because some of my brothers are actually known on my channel. But one of my younger brothers, they were wanting someone to watch a movie. And so they were like, hey, you should watch this movie, it's really cool. And they were like, what's it about? And they just started listing, like, they didn't even, like, just say, you know, this is what the game's about, or the movie's about. They just started listing spoilers left and right. They were like, all the plot points, all the major things that happen in the movie. They're just like, this is why you should watch the movie. And they just gave so many spoilers. So it's like, yeah, maybe why would you watch a movie after you just told them, like, the entire movie? You just told them, like, all the big twists of the movie in order to get them to watch the movie. It's like, oh, great.
I was actually reading through some of the comments. Peach, I'm not going to say much, right, because it is, but this was brought up in a review that Peach plays a role in post-game. But I mean, you of course, you know, Peach is a princess, you always do something, but apparently it's not just your standard Peach ending. There's more to it than just that. So that's really cool. We're not gonna, that's all we know, you know, that's not really ruining it for anyone. But I mean, obviously if you find out what she's doing, then it's a spoiler, right? But we don't know what. We just know it's interesting and it's different. So it's really cool, you know. Yeah. Anyways, good night, Blackstar. See, he's gonna play Mario Kart. We're actually gonna do a Mario Kart stream on Thursday, you know, in anticipation for Mario Odyssey. So we'll see what happens with that. Is there any more memories that we want to discuss for Mario Odyssey, or not Mario Odyssey, for Mario games? I just have Mario Odyssey in my mind.
I do have a memory. Mario 64. Okay. I remember that dang bunny that was in the basement of the castle. Trying to catch that thing was so annoying. I remember, like, it was so ridiculous, but it was fun in a way. And I remember that level that's down there, that sand level. I had so many memories of that level because I sucked at it so much. And those, like, rotating boxes that had only one, like, way that it'd be like hollow, so it had an opening and you could be safe. Those things always killed me. It's like, it was insta kill. If you got smashed by those, if they rotated and you didn't move out of the way or go in the one side that's actually open, you just die instantly. Yeah, and I just remember that was one of the ones that actually had the wing cap, which is something I really wish they'd bring back. Like the wing cap, like, well, I don't care if it's like late game, but they should bring that back. It was awesome.
You kind of get the wing cap in Galaxy. Sort of, you get these moments where you can fly. So we'll see. I hope it comes back too. But actually, Tatsuki Mishima, he wants me to bring up a certain memory of his. Like, he was talking about, well, I'm literally just going to read out your comment. I think you mean this one, right? OMG, remember in Galaxy 1, those levels where you had to ride a stingray to the finish line? I love those levels because it's, like, on the water, which reminds me of Sunshine. You have the water, it's really beautiful. Except it's in the middle of sky or space, and the stingrays look really cool. It kind of reminds me of the bloopers a little bit, except you're racing around and you have to control, and you use the motion controls. At the time, were really fresh and interesting. Those are great levels, and they were pretty challenging. Like, I even, like, in my stream, like a month or so ago, or maybe 2 months ago at this point, was streaming Galaxy, and I was just freaking out, just trying to, like, you know, stay on the water, and I would just, like, go full speed the entire time. Like, I wouldn't stop. It was like, oh my god, I was freaking out. I think I only fell once. Maybe I beat it. I don't remember, but I think I did. I did okay for that one. But yeah, those are some great levels, and in fact, there's something similar in 3D World with the giant orange Yoshi. I forgot his name. You do similar things where you're sliding around the water. You have to, like, navigate and avoid pitfalls and stuff. I love those little water racing adventures on cool,
they were
colorful
really fun.
dinosaurs or animals. Well, stingrays are not dinosaurs. But it looks like we're going to get that in Odyssey as well. There's a lot of dinosaurs in Odyssey, except you turn into them this time. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I know there's some water levels, so yeah, I'm excited about that for sure. Definitely. I'm probably going to make a video about all the different dinosaurs in Odyssey. Hopefully Yoshi's in there.
Yeah. I'm curious what you think of 3D World and I guess 3D Land as well, because I know a lot of people who don't count them as like actual 3D Mario games, which I'm kind of on the fence of counting as an actual 3D Mario game, but some just don't. They're just like, they bring up Mario games and they don't even talk about it at all. So
Well,
I'm just interested, what do you think of that game? Because I actually thought it was really good.
I've given 3D World a lot of flack, and here's the thing. Okay, so like you have to consider like the setting. So when the Wii U came out, it had no group. Like we got Nintendo Land, right? And then a year later, we finally got 3D World. But aside from that, and like Pikmin 3, which seemed like just an updated version for the. It seemed like they kind of had a Wii that was started off as a Wii project and they moved it on to Wii U. Like there wasn't that many like big like epic Nintendo games. There just weren't. And it's probably in my opinion one of the biggest reasons why the Wii U didn't even get to GameCube level success, right? And like 3D World was supposed to be 3D Mario game when there was like that big epic like January Direct, the very first one where they showed off Xenoblade and they said there's a 3D Mario game and a Zelda game coming. We were super excited. But when we saw the 3D Mario game and we saw Mario running around in a cat suit, that was our saving grace. That was our hope. Our hope for a super epic, our Mario's first foray into HD. We were hoping for like a next-gen super epic Mario game, and we saw Mario in a cat suit. Like, if you're like that hardcore gamer, you want to see like an epic Mario adventure, 3D World wasn't it. Like, it just wasn't. And it was limited in terms of openness, It was a lot more linear. It really just was a 3D, it was literally an HD version of 3D Land. Okay, multiplayer. An HD multiplayer version of 3D Land, which is cool. It was a good game. Don't get me wrong. Objectively, 3D World's a good game. I even 100%ed it, but it wasn't the game the Wii U needed. It wasn't the game that inspired a lot of hype, So, do I consider it a 3D Mario game? Yes, I do. But I consider it one of the weaker 3D Mario games, and I don't think it deserves the same praise as Galaxy 1 or 2, 64, or even Sunshine, because Sunshine was unique, it was bold, and maybe it was divisive, but it still had that epic feel. It was pushing boundaries, it was open, it was pushing boundaries for Mario. 3D World was just an expansion of 3D Land,
That's true.
So
it
yeah,
things
it is a 3D Mario game. It's just not a good one. Sort of. It's good, but it's not like it's not great.
I think aside from the context of the terribleness of the Wii U and wanting an amazing like 3D world, like if this had come out, say right after Galaxy or something, like right after a big open world 3D Mario game, I think this would have been a great game. I think it would have been really good, really cool. It's just like it came out like after how many new Super Mario Brothers type games did we get before this game? Like so many. It's just like all we were getting was just these same 2D Mario games, and not even good 2D Mario games. They were like meh 2D Mario games, and then all of a sudden they come up with some 2.5D Mario game.
Right, and that's the other thing, right? We got a lot of 2D Mario games in a row, right? And then what we got wasn't like it was 3D-ish, but it wasn't 3D. I mean, I wouldn't call it like 2D Mario with polygons. It's more than that, but it wasn't the jump we wanted. It wasn't the super epic, big console pushing, ambitious 3D Mario title.
Yeah.
But Super Mario Odyssey is. When I watched that game, bro, I haven't watched that much gameplay, but the gameplay I have seen when I watch it, especially like the up to date version, that's on the most recent 900p 60f sort of version. I watched that footage and I'm just like, this is the Mario game of my dreams. This is the Mario game that I waited for on Wii U. you know, this is the Mario game that I was hoping was going to completely blow my mind when I was like, oh my god, Nintendo's making an HD system, you know? And yeah, it was just amazing. And, you know, it's kind of like the Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is like, oh, this is the Zelda I've always been waiting for. You know, Mario is that, and I'm really excited about it. So I've seen a lot of people put up some really interesting, like, comments, so I want to go through it. Brandon, let's see if you have anything else you want to, like, add to that.
Yeah, well, I can wait till you go through the comments.
So, like,
always like interaction with them.
Yeah, so like Son Gohan was talking about how he thinks like Splatoon was inspired from Mario Sunshine. They've had multiple interviews where they said no, it was not inspired, but I totally 100% get you. Like I see it too. I see it too. And you heard about the whole things about Mario Paint and Mario 128, how that eventually equated to Galaxy. But then there's Sunshine. Where did that go? And then you see the way there was ink and the water physics in Sunshine and Nozzle and Splatoon. Like you have to think that maybe they played around with the idea.
By Sunshine?
I do think, however, what it is that I don't know, because I think what it is that in Nintendo there's tons of concepts they play around with. Like a lot of times before they make a game, they just play around with gameplay concepts. They're like, oh, what would be a cool way to do something, or how would this be fun, right? So there probably may have been some gameplay concepts that were being jumped around during the Sunshine era that were implemented, and the Galaxy era that were implemented. But then some of those ideas still stayed in, you know, the barrel or the think tank or whatever, and translated into Splatoon as well. So there are some similarities, but it's still, you know, obviously it's very different. But I agree with you. It just feels like there was inspiration there. But I think it basically boils down to how Nintendo develops games. How there are these concepts that they play around with, and I think Sunshine and Galaxy and even Splatoon sort of were all born from these gameplay concepts that they've been playing around with for years. If that makes any sense. That's the way I understand it, because I'm naive and I just assume that whenever someone says in an interview they're not lying, you know. I just don't see.
Why would you? Why would
you
lie
that's the thing, though. Like they do lie. All video game companies, when it comes to like secrets and how they do things, they lie in interviews sometimes when they have no other choice, right? But for this scenario, I don't see the motive in lying about the, you know, how Splatoon came to be. So I just think it's what I said, that it comes down to the gameplay concepts, which just has been very well noted how Nintendo develops their games. They play around with the gameplay concepts, and that evolves into something else. So, yeah. For sure. Oh God, Kimishima, you saw a thumbnail? Guys, be careful looking at thumbnails that are suggested videos, because some of them are straight up spoilers. And if I see videos, I've seen the videos, I flag them, bro. Like, that's just wrong. Why do you do that? I mean, they do it because they want hits. You know, like, I don't want to delve into this whole other topic. I'll save it for a talking point one day. But basically, you know, YouTube is a form of journalism. And when I study journalism, you know, the point is to be truthful, to spread information, and communicate with people. It's not to hunt people for hits and just do what you want. Like, when you have people, like, putting out stuff like that, they're clearly doing it because they just want to get hits. You know, like, they're not doing it because they care about spreading information. You know, like, I actually enjoy educating people or speaking truth or talking about things. Like, that's why I do this, right? Because I actually enjoy talking about this stuff and telling people about this stuff. Like, you know, before I did YouTube, I would always be talking to my friends who didn't even like Nintendo. I was like, hey, you know, Nintendo, they're working on Breath of the Wild, and it's gonna be the most epic game ever. Like, and for like, you know, like, now I talk about that stuff because I enjoy talking about that stuff, not because I'm trying to get people to watch my. I mean, obviously, I want people to watch my channel, but like, I have pure, sincere reasons. So I mean, I just hate it people do that, and I mean, when they're doing that, they're going against what journalism is all about. You know, so it sucks, and hopefully, you know, YouTube will do a better job of handling that. So yeah, I'm gonna look through a few more here. Yeah, Booper says that Nintendo has made a distinction between linear and non-linear 3D games. That is true. They have made that distinction, and they have said with Mario Odyssey that they're going more towards this Sunshine 64 sort of format. So it's interesting because we almost have like 3 different kind of mainline Mario games. You have the 2D Mario games, you have the Mario Odyssey 64 Sunshine Mario games, and you have like a 3D World, 3D Land kind of Mario games. So it's cool. I just hope that I don't know how they're gonna handle it, because I prefer it like this, right? Because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's this. We'll say I'm gonna move on for this discussion because I don't want to talk about how Nintendo's gonna handle all the different genres and versions of all their different IPs on one platform. That is a whole other discussion. Maybe we'll talk about it later. I just want to go through the chat. I know people have talked about all different stuff, but it is true they have made that distinction. Oh, Caro 9010, what's up? Yeah, he just says hello, and he's excited about. Let me just read the top. Hello, I think for me one of my best Mario memories was completing the original Super Mario Brothers and the Lost Levels. I heard the Lost Levels is like extremely hard, and like I've played Super Mario Brothers a lot, and bro, it is challenging. So props to you, man, for beating those games. They're really hard, and they're perfect examples of those games where you just work really, really hard and you get that satisfaction after beating them. So yeah, props. You should be proud. Those are tough games. I like Super Mario Brothers a lot, obviously, but definitely tough. Oh, Kimishima's sending his ninjas. He's gonna take down that entire. He's gonna eviscerate them. Oh my god. All right. Well, as long as no one else is getting hurt, it's good.
Just the offenders.
Yeah, actually, I liked Carlos was talking about New Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo DS. I liked that. That was probably my favorite new 2D Mario game because it was the first one, and after that, kind of felt overplayed. But I did play the Wii U version a lot because there was no other games to play. There actually were a few games, but there was no Mario game to play, so it was good.
Yeah,
definitely good. And yeah, there's a lot to say, But
Tatsumi brought up a good point about 3D World and that it's supposed to be a more multiplayer focused game, and it's very good for that. And I agree. It's just that at the time that wasn't really what we wanted.
No, exactly.
It wasn't what we needed.
No,
but
exactly.
I feel like in a vacuum, it's really good. That game's just in a vacuum. That game would be great. In context, the game is not good.
I agree. Well, I will say this. I guess it's kind of fun playing multiplayer 3D Mario, in a way. It's fun. It's not a game changer for me though. Like it's not like playing Smash Brothers or Mario Kart multiplayer good. It's just kind of like okay, this is cute, whatever.
It's the only kind of way I like playing 2D Mario games or Mario 3D World. I will not play them by myself. I just skip them.
I actually played a lot of two-player Mario on the Wii U. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I like the 2D Mario games in a way because I feel like they're better for... the thing is what's funny is that 3D World is kind of like an expanded version of that popular Mario Party game where everyone's on a platform together and the platform gets smaller and smaller and you have to like jump on people's heads. But because the controls are so wonky, it's really hard to control and you fall off really, really easily. So I kind of see 3D World as like an expansion of that idea in terms of multiplayer. It's just like you can screw around with people and it can get kind of annoying, but it's kind of the whole point. I personally am just into pure platforming when it comes to Mario games, so when people get in the way of that, it kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Personally. So.
Yeah, I always liked kind of speedrun-ish playthroughs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know, just a normal playthrough, I'd rather play with at least another person.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've just never been into the 2D games, though. It's just like, they're not that great to me. Like, I'd rather play something else.
Well, you were born in the 3D era, but do not underestimate the greatness of the 2D Mario games.
Yeah, well, it's not even that I don't like 2D games. Like, I have a lot of 2D games I really, really enjoy. Like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, one of my favorite 2D platformers. No, actually, my favorite 2D platformer. That game is amazing. I love 2D platformers like that game. It's just the 3D, or the Mario ones, I just never really enjoyed that much. I kind of like the older ones. The older ones are pretty fun. It's just the new Super Mario Bros. Ones were just like, I don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's true. They're kind of... They've just been done a lot. And I actually like the fact that Mario Maker... I hope that's like a replacement for the 2D Mario games. Notice how I don't think we've gone a 2D Mario game since Mario Maker.
Mario Maker was really fun.
We haven't gone a 2D Mario game since Mario Maker. Which is interesting, right?
We haven't. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will get one for a long time.
I would actually be interested to see like a new Super Mario game that's 2D and sprite based. It'd be interesting to see that, but like as an indie game, because the Odyssey games kind of already like there's sprite based levels within levels of Odyssey. You know, they're like maybe you could actually create a whole game like that, like a Mega Man style Mario game. That'd be cool, but I wouldn't want to pay $60 for it. Maybe $10 for it. You know, kind of like a Mario Run sort of thing, except an indie game available on the Switch.
I actually really liked Mario Run. To be honest, Mario Run was really fun for me.
I like Mario Run. I like it a lot. I just don't like the fact that I can't play it inside the subway.
That's true. I actually rather play Mario Run than New Super Mario Brothers. I just don't like those games. I like the older Mario games. The older 2D Mario games are really fun to play. It's just the new ones just suck for some reason, in my opinion. They're just not fun. I don't know why. They're just annoying. But 3D World was like a 2D-ish, 3D-ish game that I actually enjoyed playing with friends.
I enjoyed 3D Land more because 3D Land, basically the same game.
I don't know.
I like it more because for the 3DS, I had a certain expectation for a Mario game, and 3D Land met it. On the Wii U, 3D World did not meet my expectation at all.
It's true, but
it's not like it wasn't one of those things where like throughout history people have begged Nintendo to do certain things, and then Nintendo's been like, no, this is better. And a lot of times they've been right, but 3D World was one of those times where they were wrong. So it didn't meet my expectations, and it didn't satisfy what I wanted. So that was a problem. Yeah, but I still liked it. I didn't get more. And for the record, I didn't get 3D World at first. I got 3D World when it was $20. So just if it was never $20, I probably would never have bought it. I played it like a few hours of it with a friend when it came out, and then I was like, all right, this is not for me. I don't need this, so I didn't get it. And as far as 3D Mario games go, I never feel like that. When a 3D Mario game comes out, I need it immediately. 3D World wasn't that, unfortunately. It's a good game. It just isn't like the 3D Mario game that I dream of, and Odyssey is, and I can't wait for it. It's coming out so soon. I'm super excited for it.
In a world where Odyssey now exists, I'm fine going and I'm fine with 3D World. Just I don't know. In a world without it, it would be terrible.
Right, like you said, in a vacuum, when it just an isolated game, it's very good. It's just it wasn't what we wanted. I mean, it's that simple. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Mario's the one series where I actually, when a 2D one gets announced, I go, oh my gosh, why? But a lot of other series, the 2D game gets announced, I'm like, oh yeah, Zelda 2D game. If that got announced for the Switch, I'd be ridiculously hyped. A 2D Donkey Kong game, I'd be super happy. 2D Yoshi game, Kirby, all these kind of games.
Well, 2D Yoshi and Kirby are kind of we've seen a lot of those too. So
yeah,
but Mario,
I'm not like, oh my gosh.
But Zelda, Metroid. That'd be cool. Kid Icarus. Imagine like a 2D Kid Icarus game. Actually, people would be upset about that one because we want a 3D Kid Icarus game first.
Yeah.
So maybe not that one. Yeah. But after we get our 3D Kid Icarus. So yeah.
But I'm not like, oh my gosh, why is this game existing?
Yeah.
Like I'll look forward to them and be excited and play them and have a great time. When a new 2D Mario game gets announced, I'm like, I don't want to play this. Just don't. I can't. I won't. I waste my money on this game. Because I just don't like them anymore. I don't know. They used to be good. It's just nowadays, it's just like, why? It's just like, I don't know. Maybe if they make a one and it's actually really good, if they go back and they make a new 2D game, Mario game, it could be really good. But the ones they've made recently just not.
So, I think it's getting late. I think some people are getting tired. Myself. I think we should try to end this discussion now. But like I said, guys, if you guys have more to say, more to talk about, put them in the comments below when the video's archived. Ask me about them. Discord, Patreon, all that stuff, Twitter. So, one more thing. Where do you think Mario Odyssey is going to rank amongst the Mario games? Let's whittle down to 3D Mario games. And those 3D Mario games being 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, Galaxy 2, 3D Land, and 3D World. Okay, so we got 6 3D Mario games, Mario Odyssey being the 7th. I hope I didn't miss any. I don't think I did. Just I
don't think so.
Full 3D Mario games. Where do you think it will rank amongst those? I'm going to put 3D World as the last Mario game, even though I'm putting it as the last mainly because it was the most disappointing. Personally speaking. And I'm gonna put 3D Land right above it. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's just the other games had a bigger impact on me. And then I would put. Oh man, that's hard. It's hard to like rank the next 4.
Yeah.
I will say this. I think I'm gonna put 64, Sunshine,
Ooh, really?
Galaxy 1, and then Galaxy 2. And I just want to point out here the difference between 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2 is very small. It's like, like 97, 98, 99, 99.5. Like they're all really close, and 64 was like the first of the 3D Mario games, so in a way it holds a special place in my heart. But in terms of like what I like replaying, like I think that's where I would rank them for sure. And where I think Mario Odyssey will be, like just based off what I've seen, what I've heard, man, I mean it's definitely going to be my favorite Mario game this year. But as time goes on, maybe number 1. I don't know. I've heard some things. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say number 1. I'm saying it. I'm saying like not in terms of overall impact, because 64 can never be beaten for being like basically the torchbearer for 3D games, right? It can't be beaten. But in terms of games that I will go back to repeatedly more, right? I think Odyssey is going to be held as like the ideal Mario game. So I think it's gonna top them all, and that's a feat. I don't know if it's gonna be reviewed better than Galaxy 1 and 2, but it'll be close. Like same thing with Breath of the Wild compared to Ocarina of Time. It's gonna be close, Yeah, that's what I think. Where do you think you're gonna rank all these, Brandon?
Oh, you're probably gonna hate me. After
No,
this.
I'm not gonna hate you. Your opinion matters.
You're not gonna hate me. You're just gonna never let me back on the podcast, or
Never
like that. But joking aside, I would put Sunshine at dead last. Dead last. Any other 3D Mario game I'd rather play than Sunshine. I don't know. I just recently played Sunshine, and I recognized it was an emulated form, and it wasn't perfect, but even when it was right, even when every control worked perfectly, I just didn't have very much fun playing that game. You could tell when I streamed this game, I was actively...
for the first time, or did you emulate it?
I emulated it. But it wasn't...
Asterisk.
It wasn't the...
Asterisk.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Sure.
But it's not even the emulation, because I understand emulations are terrible.
It's not, I don't think what you're saying is bad. I mean, objectively speaking, or in terms of critical reception, I think Sunshine is actually considered to be the worst in terms of overall critical reception.
Yeah.
So, I can't hate your opinion, because technically it goes hand in hand with critical reception. Yeah. So,
there was a lot of things I liked about it. I liked that it added FLUDD. I liked that it had really cool new elements. I just didn't like the way they implemented them all the time. When I was going through mission by mission, they didn't feel that unique. There weren't that many of them. Like, I was going around, I got all the shines, other than the blue coin missions, and I was like, did I seriously beat the game?
I wouldn't be surprised if Sunshine was
10
rushed.
hours.
Actually, did you know 64 was a little rushed? Like, Shigeru Miyamoto wanted the game to be even bigger. And, I mean, it's kind of what there's even talk of maybe putting a sequel, and there's a whole 64DD project, and, some of the concepts went into 64DS eventually, and then Super Mario 128, which is a code name for which eventually became Galaxy, or not even Galaxy, just concepts of it translated to Galaxy and Sunshine. So, yeah. I mean, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess go on with your list.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's just Sunshine's last. It just felt short. It irritated the hell out of me constantly, and not even just controls, just concepts just annoyed me. But it was a bad game. It was not a bad game in any stretch of the imagination. I had fun. It was great.
We're comparing great 3D Mario games. So
we're comparing greatness to greatness here.
Exactly. It's like saying, oh, who's better? Who's a good basketball player, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? They're both really good. It's not really. There's no disputing that they're really good, it's just kind of like which one is better, right? Yeah. But you still pick either one to have them on your team, of course.
Yeah. Next, I would put 3D Land. It was a great game, but it just, I don't know, the other games were better. 3D World is my next one. That game I actually had fun with, and I enjoyed playing that with some friends. So I had a really good time with that. And then, I don't know, I never played Galaxy 2, so I'm just going to rope Galaxy 1 and 2 in the same. And I'd say I'd put, I don't know, I think I'd put Mario 64 next, actually, not Galaxy. So, okay. Sunshine, 3D Land, 3D World, 64, only because they need to go back and update. It just feels outdated. If they went back,
if you talk about 64 DS, it's pretty updated. Well,
that's true.
A little bit.
But it's also on the DS.
Right.
But if they went back and they remade that game, new graphics, new camera, new controls, I think it'd be better than Galaxy, in my opinion. I'd probably want to play it more. That might be nostalgia talking, I'm not sure, but yeah. So if they do that, maybe I'll rank it higher. But original 64 version, that's after 3D World, then Galaxy, and then I do think Super Mario Odyssey will be the best. I don't see a universe where Super Mario Odyssey isn't the new best 3D Mario.
Right. I mean, it's just kind of like Nintendo's accomplished something with their game development now. Breath of the Wild is pushing the boundaries. Mario Odyssey is pushing the boundaries. So yeah, I think we both think Mario Odyssey is going to be the best Mario game yet, and that's really, really cool. But anyways, guys, I guess that's the end of the discussion. Let me just, answer a few different, comments here. Yeah, Kimishima, Galaxy 1. I mean, like, I put Galaxy 2 above 1, but they're kind of like the same game to me, So I feel you though. Galaxy 1, it was the introduction to that concept. It was a very solid game for sure. And then Sun Gohan brought up a possibility of having a game that's not like Smash or Mario Kart, where all the Nintendo characters come together. I like that idea, and I don't know how it could be done, but I would like to see something like that in the future. Maybe an RPG, but interactive, like not turn-based, like real time. That'd be really cool. And you're talking about how you come from the 2D era, so I love the 2D Mario games, but I mean, you understand it. You got your Switch because you want to play 3D Mario games. Or just 3D games in general. So I like the Switch because I think you're gonna be able to play a lot of good 2D games on it as well. But there's going to be that market of AAA Mario games or Zelda games, Metro games, third-party games. Things like that. So I think we're gonna be able to get both. So there's not really any cause for concern here. We're gonna get both. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle that with their IP. Are they going to have 2D Mario games, 3D Mario games, 2.5 Mario games, 2D Metro games, 3D Metro games, Zelda games? How are they going to handle all that? We'll see. But I guess we'll talk about that in another discussion or another video. So, again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you have any other points, comments below. So, good night, everyone. Thanks for watching, and Mario Odyssey is coming out in like 4 days. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Good night. We'll be talking about it really soon. All right. Bye. Oh, wait, where's my mouse? Oh, darn it. I screwed up.
I do that all the time.
See you for real.